What is going on, you guys? Rochelle here, bringing you another tutorial. Today I'm going to be using Gimp to make a YouTube or Twitch icon. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to be using Gimp to make an icon today, and the icon's going to look a little something like this. I'm going to break down the tutorial into 3 steps, which is going to be the background, the circle, and the text on top. So the nice thing about this is that this process can be used with a lot of different patterns, and you can make a lot of semi-unique icons, and yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is make an 800 by 800 project, and that's the recommended size for YouTube icons, so yeah, you're going to want to do that. Next, you're going to start with this white screen, this white layer. You can just delete that layer, we don't need it. And you're going to want to go ahead and get your images that you want to use. So you can just go on Google and search up some images you want. I'll just pull up mine here. Alright, so here's the images. For my background, I'm going to use these two, so you can just click and drag them into your layers, like so. Nice and easy. Alright, so the first thing we notice is the clock background isn't big enough. You might not have to do this, but I do. So I'm going to just scale the layer to be 100% of the size of the background. There you go. So you don't have to like shrink bigger ones, but you should expand smaller ones. Alright, so we have these two. And what we're going to want to do now is make them overlays, which means click on this little drop down right here. Overlay. Same thing with this one. Overlay. Alright, so you can't really tell with this galaxy, but obviously the clock's got significantly lighter. So the trick with the overlays, you can do technically as many as you want. 2 or 3 looks pretty good. And you're going to want to play with the opacity so it looks good. Like right now, these clocks are like super prominent, and I didn't want them to be that prominent, I just want them to be kind of there. So you can play with this opacity a little bit. But you're going to want to make sure that at least one of them has 100% opacity. So right now this looks pretty good. I don't really like this thing right here, so I'm going to just fix that right now. If you have any problems with your photos, you can fix that. You could also play with colors like saturation or contrast, if that's what you wanted. I'm just realized that I did that on the clock layer, so you won't be able to tell anything. But yeah, so like on the galaxy, right, if we made it more saturated, like it's pretty obvious. But I like mine the way it is, so I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to fix this little thing, and I'll be right back. Alright, so that's all done for the background. So next we're going to go ahead and move on to the circle. And for the circle, all we do is we use the ellipse tool right here. And we make a circle. So you can start with a 800 by 800 circle and then work your way down to figure out what size you want. Because we don't want it to be all the way around. We are going to add a shadow to it, so you do want to leave a little bit of space for that. So let's go ahead and play with sizes a little bit. I'm going to try maybe 700. Oh, sorry, I just undid that. Alright, and then to get the right position, all you want to do is 800 minus whatever your size is and divide it by 2. So 800 minus 700 is 100, divided by 2 is 50. Alright, so now it's centered, and I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that. Next, you're going to select the color that you want the top part of the circle to be stroked with, not the shadow, just the top part. So if you plan on putting an image overlay on it, I recommend white, but you can do whatever you want. So all you do is you have this, I have my color selected, I go right click, edit, selection, and we're going to stroke it with whatever size, and I think it defaults to 6, but 25 is what I want, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so I think that looks pretty good for me. Now what you're going to want to do is select, sorry, I actually messed up. You're going to want to make a new layer and stroke it onto that white. So, same thing. On the wrong thing, sorry. Stroke, white. Okay, so now it's on this transparent layer right here. You don't want to stroke it on your background. Alright, so now that that's done, like I said before, select by color, make a new layer for the shadow, put it underneath the white so it shows up behind it, and then grow this layer so that it is basically off it a little bit. So I'm going to try 7. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a tiny gap, and select your shadow color and just dump it in right here. Just like that. Alright, so this doesn't really look like a shadow, and that's totally fine. The next step to make it look like the shadow is we're going to go to filters, and we're going to do Gaussian blur. And just play with these numbers until it looks like however you want it to look. And just press OK. That's a little bit on the soft side for me. So I'm going to do it again, but I'm just going to... Sorry, I'm going to undo this one and then do it again. Not that little. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Got a nice density in the middle and it kind of fades out. So that looks good for me for the shadow. So then you can merge these layers down into one. Now, as you see on mine, I have some blue pattern over it, and that's where this wave picture comes in that I have. So for that, you're going to want to just drag that on here. Obviously, this isn't what we want, but kind of seeing where this is going, I'm hoping. Alright, so you would think that maybe we could use overlay, but unfortunately it doesn't work here, so you're going to have to use the opacity. But I'm just doing this so I can see the circle below it. You're going to select, so right now I'm selecting the layer where the circle's in. Select by color, and you're going to select the white part. And you're going to invert the selection so it's selecting everything except for the white part. Click on your pattern. Add an alpha channel, which will make it transparent when you delete, and then delete. And just like that, you have a pattern over your circle. Nice and easy. Alright, so I'm actually going to play with the colors a little bit. I'm going to make it more saturated. And I'm going to make it more contrasty. Which, yes, totally a word, guys. Don't worry about it. I actually don't like that. That's too contrasty. Okay. Good. So we got that. We got the background, we got the circle. Now we're going to move on to the text. So for the text, you should go online. You don't have to, I guess. You can use the default font, but you can go online and you can download a font that you want, a custom one. I downloaded this font, which kind of looks like a, I don't know. It reminds me of like the 50s because, you know, I'm totally old enough to know what the 50s looks like. Also, I'm bad at eras, so I could totally be wrong. But here you're going to just type in your title. So if you have multiple words and you want to put them in new lines, I definitely recommend making more than one input so that you can, sorry, I just started writing title. So you can put them exactly where you want them. And what you want to do is you can play with the sizes here. Obviously you want them both to be the same size, but you can play with the sizes here if you wanted, and do that. Because sometimes when you play with it here, it's like really finicky and you have to have everything highlighted and stuff. So anyways, that's this. This is going to be the color that's going to show on the top part of the font, again, of the title, again, not the shadow part. So now I'm just going to position this where I want it to be. Maybe right there is good. Alright, and I'm going to merge these two layers together. Okay, so we got that. Now, so you see how this is cutting kind of close? This is actually going to cut off part of the shadow. So we're going to go to boundary size, and we're going to make this 800 by 800. And we're going to center it. And I actually also want to add slightly, like I want to skew my title a little bit. So I'm just going to tilt it ever so slightly. But again, this is you don't have to do this. This is all a matter of design choice. I think even that is cutting it off a little bit. Oh, right, but it's a floating section right now. You see it's a floating section, so you can kind of just move it around. And anchor this down. Alright, so that looks good. That looks alright, maybe around here. Okay, so that looks decent. And the last thing we want to do is just add the black border around it. So, like we did kind of with this outer shadow, we're going to select it. we're going to grow the selection. I'm going to grow it by 4. Select the color of the shadow that you want. And then use the bucket. And you want to make sure you make a new layer for this as well. And put it below the white. There you go, just like that. You can fade that if you want, but I kind of like the hard, crisp outline, so I'm going to leave mine like this. And now you got an icon. So this concludes the end of my tutorial. If you guys liked it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. I try to answer all of them. If I don't see them, I'm very sorry, and that would be the only reason why I don't answer a comment. If you want to see more Gimp videos, I'll throw a couple on the screen now, so you can go ahead and click those. One's for pixel art setup, and one is for how to animate with Gimp. And if you want to see some more videos kind of like this, I am planning on doing a banner tutorial as well as a thumbnail tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.